Five on the left, two on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love.
Truth.
Peace.
Freedom.
And
justice. Allah is my protector.
Allah is my protector.
My guide. And my salvation. By night. And by day. Through his holy prophet. Noble Juali. Islam, Moorish. Prophet warns all Muslims, governors ordered to read proclamation at each meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical agitating speeches while at work, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be of severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings toward the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the law as laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, they should turn in their card and button, cease wearing their turban and fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the Prophet Noble Juali. And if the Prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The Prophet, therefore, is sending out a divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting their Prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the Prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Noble Juali. Islam. To be proclaimed at every meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There is a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claimed that I was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and the nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens, they are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that paid their divine respect to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I am calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance, and I need it badly. Never before have I needed finance so badly as I do at present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being head. It has been proven by my works which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet Noble Juali. To the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Islam, this is the instruction from your Prophet Noble Juali. Be faithful unto your forefathers' divine and national creed, that you would be blessed for your good deeds that you sow in the flesh. Allah is the one that judges the world, and his judgment is now on, but the weak can comprehend it not. The end of time is drawing near, so says Allah to his divine prophet, I, Noble Juali. And that's why many hearts have been turned to stone. Many have eyes to see, but cannot see, ears to hear, but cannot hear, lest they would be confounded of their sins. These are trying hours now, dear Moors, and every evil spirit is moving. And they are trying every weak mind to overthrow and drag out the true foundation that has been laid, and to cause confusion in the minds of the ones that do believe. But if you have the true love of Allah and the spirit of your forefathers, you fear not what you hear or see, but would sacrifice the utmost of your very life to protect your movement and your prophet. Watch your enemies, dear Moors. Your enemies are the ones that speak against your prophet and ridicule him to the very lowest, and the ones that speak against your divine and national principles of your temples. Act accordingly, and Allah would bless you for your good work. Peace, your divine prophet, Noble Juali. Islam.
KGP Beats.
Time is wasted. I use the mind elevation. Mind elevation. Time is wasted. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasted. I use the mind elevation. Mind elevation.
I know it's a lot to digest, but that doesn't mean you should digress. Stay on the studies, knowledge is power. As man thinketh, so is he. Be a lot in man, G-O-D. Generator, operator, destroyer. Hold up, give it a chance before you throw in the towel and call call it quits. Take time to think what the Prophet Drew Ali did. He bankrupted the U.S. so you could be free. Brought back El-Bay, Al-Day, and Ali. He brought back civilization, found his mainframe. Not only in appearance but an abstract strain. Brought back the constitutional fold again. I know pigs got guns, just maintain. Put the guns down. Have you lost your brain? They got nukes, tanks, and drone bomber planes. Yeah, black power, but RBG are Moroccan flag colors. Can't you see? I know your sight is going, but you're not blind yet. It's all in your mind anyway, so don't mind threats. Life is too short. Not talking to rap pimp, calling yourself nigga when that's a chip. Cave dweller, hey fella, a monkey is who you think you are, you stupid junkie. High off ignorance and ignorance. From sheiks warning you of King Alfred plans. It's not about being in courts, but make them hear you. Declare your nationality, don't let them scare you.
Feel the time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind
50 posts a
elevation.
day of brutality on Facebook. I know it's a lot, I still say study law books. Cause uniform pigs, wolves with badges creep. Ready to sink teeth in cause you act like sheep. Passive and docile, needing a shepherd. And the one you choose got rules with flush checking. Compass and square sigils with a G in the middle. Have masses follow them like he's playing a fiddle. Have masses follow them cause masses scared shitless. Stay witless but post a world star when they bear witness. Always waiting for the rights from civil strictness. All your black leaders are on King Alfred hit list. Dirty Moors smelling like they got shit dip. Picture for Aquarian age, make them switch hit. Like when I found 2 ounces and did a quick flip. From black to Moorish, American give devils split lips. Men walking with slit pupils and lipless. Talking my language like this is Genesis. I used to be one of society's menaces. Acting devilish makes me shake my head every time I reminisce about the past. Living fast at night, no days. Full ahead of ways and low flow days. I know those days won't be coming back again. Change is good, but I still beg no friends.
Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation.
Conscious coons trying to school me with limited knowledge. Taught to them by overseers from Masters College. 5 G's a year, I call that robbery and racketeering. Mental slave boats got mine stacked to the ceiling with info and data. Too many more haters. This in the Moors birthright is this in yours, player. Conscious coons chasing MCA fiat paper. Not to be mean, but pyramid schemes for later. Grabbing at your attention like air and don't care. Looking at a computer screen with a dead blank stare. I'm the Moorish MC, no pranks here. If you're too punk to be a Moor, just stand fair. If you scared to die, you better throw in the towel. A lot of black African groups, movements are vowel. Bow well, they say Moors, but they talking black shit. That's still brown, I think you brains in backwards. Common sense broke his neck from a backflip. Some knowledge people get is like a crack epidemic. Nothing but denial. When I call them a Moor, they don't even watch the German Moors class with Moor and Bay. Didn't watch Moorish Connection to hip hop. NBA nigga slaves got youths in flip-flops in minus degrees like he's Bosch in Miami Beach. So hungry with money and fronts in his teeth. Of lab weed or chemicals he always reeks. Not saved by the bell, punk a rap and screech. MC Captain teach the same boys on Backstreet. Get in the booth, run through beats like track meets. I call me a KTS and calling out as witness. Moorish MC, when I rap I spit gifts. Rapping blood clot dummies are on my hit list. Blowing through the air, no kush, just natural mystics. I stay lawful, they want me legalistic. I'm on the corner schooling young gods you call mystics.
Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation. Time is wasting. I use the mind elevation. I use the mind elevation.
KGP Beats.
some call me Saracen, some Muslim. Europe had some dark age issues, I solved them. Using Moorish science, I'm stating the obvious. Rapper drone stepped up from Kush to Molly blunts. Unawakened, unconscious, unaware Moors. Won't accept the fact, plus we looked up black or more. Moors the custodian of Kemetic Nubians, carrying the marvelous light, the path Negroes to Nubians. I'm a Moor, some call me Saracen, some Muslim. Europe had some dark age issues, I solved them. Using Moorish science, I'm stating the obvious. Rapper drone stepped up from Kush to Molly blunts. Unawakened, unconscious, unaware Moors. Won't accept the fact, plus we looked up black or more. Moors the custodian of Kemetic Nubians, carrying the marvelous light, the path Negroes to Nubians. Saying I'm a Moor, not colored or black. I'm a Moor, Seti or Enki, they can't change that. Cause I know their hands don't extend past Allah's wisdom. I'm a Moor, no doubt a contradiction. Return to my own vine and fig tree. Nationality of mind frame, if you're with me. Reclaim your ancestral mind and shout. It's mine. And if you don't like it, get out of here, man.
I'm a Moor. Red fans, black tats, elders of my class, not black or Indians. I repeat, I'm a Moor. Indigenous to the farthest west. Say we were great, but still they say we the best. Hear what I say, I'm a Moor. Yes, it's true, if not for Drew Ali. Most of y'all would have still been asleep. Now you can tell them I'm more than you could ever wish you thought you would be. 3 centuries deep in Moorish science, I read, study, I'm a Moor.
Rope on a peg, stuck in the shore. Oceanographic device anchored to sea floors. I'm a Moor. Goldfish of China and Japan. Veil tail variety, brushing the cold water plants. I'm a Moor. Stretches of lands, jungles are where sand blows. Reptilian species and amphibians homes. I'm a Moor. Defending Drew Ali, that's my mission. To put securely in place or desired position. I'm a Moor. Ancestral mindset, not thinking like the hybrids. Can't hide from a 10, so they mess with the climate. Mess with the minds, mess with the foods. Get violent about more subjugation. Your black leaders are quiet. Signed on to King Alfred, but they want you to riot. Pushing dogma as religion and want you to buy it. Most never do it, but they want you to try it. Too many have knowledge of self on the shelves and won't apply it.
I'm a Moor. Red fans, black tats, elders of my class, not black or Indians. I repeat, I'm a Moor. Indigenous to the farthest west. Say we were great, but still they say we the best. Hear what I say, I'm a Moor. Yes, it's true, if not for Drew Ali. Most of y'all would have still been asleep. Now you can tell them I'm more than you could ever wish you thought you would be. 3 centuries deep in Moorish science, I read, study, I'm a Moor.
I am sure my teacher is deeply concerned about what is happening in Black America today, that is put two of our young men. One, a great basketball player, Kyrie Irving, and another brother who is called a rapper, but he's so much more than that. Brother Ye. And the controversy that is swirling around these two men that is causing, unfortunately, division among a people that can least afford to be broken more apart because of misunderstanding and, unfortunately, parts of ignorance, that we don't see the enemy who is working 100% to bring bloodshed about among us because of the serious nature of what is happening, that is causing them, the enemy, to use his influence on those of us who are on his payroll, and those of us who have been blessed to be connected to them. Could be a blessing, but it also can be a cursing. Because once the enemy puts his talons into you, he's reaching for your mind, but more than that, he's reaching for your soul to empty us and make us weak when we could be strong, and doing his bidding rather than manifesting the great love that God wants us to show toward one another. I'd like to start with Brother Kyrie. What did he do wrong? What did he do? He's searching for the knowledge of himself.
Stop lying, nigga. Stop lying, nigga. Because Kyrie already knows his mom is a member of Standing Rock, which makes him Standing Rock. So FOH to all these liars trying to make you think Kyrie doesn't know who he is or something. He knows who he is. He's not dumb nigger like these people. He's not dumb nigger like them. How come dumb niggers not gonna tell you? How come dumb niggers, he doesn't know himself, right? But let's just see if he doesn't know himself. Let's just double check if he doesn't know himself. Let's just double check. Let's just double check. Let's just double check if he doesn't know himself. It's real interesting. It's real interesting. Once you go on these little, Google stuff and you do your research, you might find something out. This is Spanish laughter, humor and its sense in modern Spain, page 282. Let's just check this for a second. In some satirical representations, no real distinction was made between Germans and Moors. Wonder why? Why would they make no real distinction between Germans and Moors? Oh, maybe because they're the same people. No, you just ask the German Moor on here right now, he'll tell you that they're the same people. They're no different than the European Germans and all that stuff. Dark-skinned people ruled the planet. But that's not all. They were both simply examples of barbarian invaders from the north. Because remember, when they say barber, right, you ask Brother Kush Day, when they say barber, they're talking about Berber. Berber is a barber. Barber is a barbarian. A Berberian. And the Berbers are the Moors. And then the Germans and the Moors were known as barbarians because they went in there and they civilized people. Why is a civilizer a barbarian? People are liars. The Catalan cartoonist Calder depicted Germans as an orangutan, while the Moorish soldier was a strange blend of icons that resulted in a Sioux-like African. Sioux-like African? The Moorish was a Sioux-like African? Hey, isn't Kyrie's mom a member of the Standing Rock Sioux? So if Kyrie's mom is Standing Rock Sioux, and then the Moor was a Sioux-like African, then what does that tell you about the Sioux? What does that tell you about the Sioux? Oh, you're still not convinced? Okay, no problem. No problem. No problem at all. Let's go to Tribes of the Sioux Nation by Michael G. Johnson. Let's go there and see what he has to say. The Sioux kept records of important happenings in their tribal or personal history by means of so-called winter counts. These were records of events of each winter painted on hide, which became calendrical chronicles of events stretching back many generations. Horses became integrated into Sioux life from about 1750. In the warrior society, based on individual prestige gained through war, raiding for horses was one of the primary causes of intertribal clashes, as horses were a symbol of a man's wealth. Warriors decorated horses with eagle feathers or painted their flanks with designs to lend them speed and courage. Women's wooden saddles and stirrups were a type derived from Spanish or perhaps ultimately Moorish style. So if the Sioux Indians had horses, and then the horses, saddles, and stirrups were Moorish style, not Sioux style, what's that tell you about the Sioux people? So stop this BS about he doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know who he is because he is finding out about who he is, and he watched a movie to find out who he is. No, he didn't. Why would he need to find out who he is if his mom's Native American? And the tribe of Native Americans they come from are the Sioux. And the Sioux, according to these two authors, not niggers' opinions, the Sioux Indians, they're connected to the Moors because they were using Moorish saddles and all that. They were using Moorish saddles. Right? Keep in mind, they were using Moorish saddles. Why weren't they using Indian saddles? Why do they use Moorish saddles over here? Ask yourself, why are these Indians, remember we're talking about these Indians who are connected to Kyrie, who everybody's saying, oh, he's watching Hebrews to Negroes because he doesn't know himself and he's trying to find his culture. Stop lying. Bunch of liars. That's all you have now. Bunch of liars. Just like we told you about these ones. These liars. Amadeus Christ and Sabir Bey and all these people liars. Well, they copyrighted our stuff, so that's why we went to YouTube and we filed copyright. We filed copyright because they're using our stuff because they didn't get permission to use our stuff, so now they're gonna get paid off. No, our YouTube's not monetized. Stop lying, effing liars. We're giving you free promo because we're not making anything off of posting your stuff. Sabir, Amadeus, we're not making anything on our YouTube page. All these years we had a YouTube page. Our YouTube page isn't monetized. So anybody who's telling you, well, they did copyright infringement because they can't use our stuff without permission because that means they're going to get paid off our stuff. Stop lying. These guys are effing liars. But this is what you want. This is what you're this is what you're used to. This is what you allow to be the norm. Snitching. And admitting, too. Admitting it. I could have taken the whole channel down if I wanted to. They could have taken the whole channel down? So then why didn't you? Why are you just going to snitch on one video? Unless you're just a snitch. So you should have just took the whole channel down. Oh, but then if they do that, and then we expose that they took the whole channel down, then everybody's going to know that these people are bitch niggers. Then you're going to know that they're bitch ass niggers. They're not Moors. People are bitch niggers. That's what they are. Snitching to YouTube. And then people are still going on their channel. This goof over here talking about 5K to 7K. Every video I'm going on there asking Dr. G when Taj is on there, hey, how come you're not asking him about the 5K to 7K that this guy's and then they're gonna delete the comment and then say, well, he's the first one on here leaving comments, but then he takes the comments down. They're an effing liar. Are you dumb? You must be dumb. That's why we don't F with you people. That's why we just stay in the back. We stop saying anything. Because even when we say nothing, people still snitching on our channel. We can't even upload anything right now. They're snitching on our channel. Both the YouTubes are down right now. We can't even upload anything right now. These niggers are still snitching. Then you want to know how come Kudro is scimitar on these niggers' necks all the time. These dirty bastards. They're dirty bastards. What don't you get? Oh yeah, you people are dumb. Honors to all the Moors, by the way, who aren't dumb. Honors to all the Moors who study. Honors to all the Moors who are sincere. Honors to all the Moors who. Honors to all the Moors who. Honors to all the Moors who are faithful to the cause. Honors to all of them. Honors to all you. Because those are the only ones that matter. None of these other people matter. And yeah, we could upload to the website, but nah. You ain't wasting time with all that. People don't have any honor and respect for anything. They wanna follow sellouts. So let them do their sellout stuff. Let them go to the sellouts. Go watch them. FOH. We're not uploading anything anymore. FOH. Go find somebody else to go watch. Go read a book. Go watch Kush or something. Let him read to your dumb asses. Kyrie trying to find out who he is. No, he's not. effing liars. Encyclopedia of the South Dakota Indians by Donald Rickey. The pre-Columbian period. Though the lands of the New World were first sighted in 1492, it is not until 1540 that we hear of the Plains Indians. At about this time, two famous Spanish expeditions reached the southern corners of the area. De Soto came to Mississippi in 1541 and made some excursions into the prairies to the west. A year earlier, Coronado set out from the camp near what is now Santa Fe, New Mexico, and traveled the plains northeastward, apparently to the country of the Pawnee in modern Kansas. It is from the reports of these two romantic journeys that we get our first glimpse of plains culture. Coronado at least saw typical roving plains Indians, for, according to Winship, the Spaniard related, have better figures, are better warriors, and are more feared. Remember, talking about the Indians, they travel like Arabs, with their tents and troops of dogs loaded with poles and having Moorish pack saddles. So all these Indians had Moorish saddles? Why don't they have Indian saddles? Why don't they have their tribe saddles? Why do these Indians have Moorish pack saddles? Why do they have that for, if they're not Moors? Why do they have that if they're not Moors? You're dense to the point of these Indians have Moorish saddles, not Indian saddles, but they're not Moors, they're Indians. You're a dumbass. You're a big dummy. Big dummy. Once again, Handbook of American Indians. Among the Sioux and the Cheyenne, the plumage of two eagles used to be regarded as worth a good horse. 40 horses have been given for a medicine pipe. Indian saddles varied greatly. The old saddle of the Moorish type is mostly used. Indian saddles varied greatly, but the old saddle of the Moorish type, having the high peaked pommel and cantle made of wood or horn covered with the raw buffalo hide, was most common. You still don't think these people are Moors? You still think Indians are Indians? I thought Indians in Asia. And if India's in Asia, and then over here's not India, then obviously these people aren't Indians that are over here. And if they're not Indians, then what are they? Because they can't say that they're a tribe. Right? Why can't they say that? Why? How come they can't say that they're a tribe? Why? Oh, why? Well, if we go to nativegov.org, they'll tell you, use nation instead of tribe. So if they're telling you use nation instead of tribe, because the term nation shows respect for sovereignty, and the fact that native nations each have their own systems of government, globally, we have trivialized the term tribe. We don't recommend using tribe or tribes to talk about native nations. Why is native Indian guys telling these people don't use tribe, but then you're gonna go to these niggers who calling themselves I self-law and master and all that stuff to go get Indian cards and all that stuff. They say that you're a tribe. When they're telling you, don't use tribe. Tribe's a fiction. You should be saying that you're a nation. No, they got tribe. We got a tribal enhanced identification because that's the standard. That's the standards of nothing. These people are effing liars. You don't get that they're effing liars yet? You still playing games? But nah, you don't want what the Moors are presenting. You don't listen to everybody else instead of listening to what Moors have to say. And then get bitch slapped and all that stuff by this modern European, and then you're complaining to Moors. And you want Moors to do something about it. No. Why did you sit there and allow this BS to happen? Why did you sit there and allow these games to carry on? Why? Because you're a dumbass, that's why. And like the noble prophet told these people, you're not gonna learn unless you feel pain. You're not gonna learn unless you feel pain. You're still not convinced? Okay, no problem. Charles Alexander Eastman, the Wakantan Wapatan, Sioux, 1858 to 1939. Born September 19th, near Redwood Falls, Minnesota, the son of Iti Wakandi Ota, many lightnings, and Wakantan Kanwin, sacred woman. His mother, part Dewakantan Sioux, also known as Mary Nancy Eastman. In 1882, Eastman spent a year and a half at Kimball Union Academy in Meriden, New Hampshire, and then entered Dartmouth College as one of the last Indian students to profit from a Scotch endowment based on Samson Occam's collections of Moore's Indian School in the 1760s. Now, why is the Sioux not go to the Sioux school? Why is he going to the Moore's Indian School? And then why is the Indian school called Moore's? So the Indian school called Moore's that the Sioux went to, and then Kyrie's mom is from the Sioux, and then the Sioux use Morris saddles, and Kyrie doesn't know who he is? The hell out of here. People are full of BS. We can't stand you, people. Can't stand you. You're horrible liars. Matter of fact, they lie so much.
I see my beautiful brothers with their fezzes on. That cracker don't care nothing about the fez. He see that black face under that fez. He said, oh, it's one of them Moors. Them tough people. They're wise people. All right. You gotta watch them. Because if they get next to them Negroes, they won't be Negroes no more.
No, so it's actually supposed to be Moors to Negroes, not Hebrew to Negroes, right? So that means guy who wrote that BS is a liar too. That means he's a liar, right? Because everybody knows the Hebrews come from the Canaanites and the Moabites. They know Hebrews. Hebrews are the crossover people. Didn't EPMD and LL and all them tell people to keep the crossover?
Well, not to cross over? It wasn't crossover mean that you're a sellout? If anybody out there is in the hip hop generation, when they told these rappers don't cross over, what were they telling them? When EPMD said keep the crossover, what were they saying? Were they telling you don't be a sellout? So how is it that people are riding with these sellouts today who crossed over? Oh yeah, because people are a dumbass. That's why. Because they're a big dummy. They're a big dummy. And everybody crossed over. Everyone crossed over. They don't want to be who the ancient foremothers and forefathers were. They want to be the crossover people. And then want to talk about they're not a sellout. No, we didn't sell out. People played you. Played you to the point where, again, for the record, they're not going to show you the Nation of Islam letter from 1986 to Brother Farrakhan that lets you know they know exactly what's up. They know exactly what's up. Why aren't they just coming out and telling you that they know what's up? Why are they playing games with you? Dear Brother Farrakhan, the point of this letter is to inform you of certain events which have recently transpired that may prove to be of importance to you. These little notes will also serve to explain the letter herein enclosed from our allies, the Moorish Science Temple, written by Sheikh Joel Bratton Bey. I will be brief, inshallah. On May 26, 1986, 86, what year is it now? Oh, so since 86, these people knew what's up. And then right now they're telling you about Black America and all this BS. Right? They tell you about Black America. And then you're going with their paradigm. Okay. In 1986, several sheikhs of the Moorish Science Temple, of the top national leadership, visited us in Washington during our Wednesday night meeting. We were pleased to have them, of course, and afterwards they consulted with me in private. Why did they do it in private? Why didn't they do it on the public floor and all that stuff? Why didn't they do it on the public floor so everybody could know? Why are they having this meeting and having these discussions in private? Oh yeah, because they crossed over. That's why. Sold your ass out to the highest bidder. And now they're caking. And then you're sitting here like a dumbass. You have to get vax and all this stupid shit. They gave me a briefing of their views and also literature on the legal aspect of your case, in particular, and all black people in general. We urged to meet again, which we did, in Baltimore at the Moorish Science Temple on Entah Street. In attendance were representatives of not only the Nation of Islam and Moorish Science Temple, but the United Negro Improvement Association, the Republic of New Africa, and others. In addition, the Reverend Theodore Williams, whom you know, was in attendance to announce his candidacy for the congressional seat in the 7th District of Maryland, vacated by Parren Mitchell. His purpose for running is to introduce a resolution for a separate state for blacks. Also in attendance, very conspicuously, was the Spirit of Allah. This, mind you,
being the 25th night of Ramadan, June 3rd, 1986. The presiding Moorish sheikhs gave us an excellent presentation on their teachings and their views on your situation, citing case law as an example, i.e. Jesse Jackson, the Leeds Bay case, and Muhammad Ali. The bottom line was that you needed to be naturalized as a Moorish American to escape the legal jurisdiction of the U.S. government actions against you. Much detailed information, quite well documented, was presented and is condensed in the enclosed letter to you as the naturalization process. Also deemed of essential importance to allow safe entrance was the need to arrive via Africa through the port of New Orleans. Definitely not New York via Europe. If via Asia, then through San Francisco. So if you don't know, make sure you go do your research about U.S. and Farrakhan in 1986 and how come they didn't want to let him back in the country. And clearly he's back in the country, right? Clearly he's back here. So then if he's back here and then they didn't want to let him in and he got back here because he went to some Moors and he had to naturalize, that means these people know who the Moors are. That means these people did a Moorish process. Whether right, wrong, pure, divine, some BS, doesn't matter. They went to the Moors to get back in the country, which they got back in the country. On June 5th, 1986, the 27th night of Ramadan, I stood with Reverend Williams as he announced formally his intention to run for Congress. I addressed the assembly of Moors and was well received. Again, the Spirit descended. On June 8th, 1986, again in Baltimore, I met with the Moorish sheikhs, this time accompanied by your legal counselor, Sister Ava Muhammad, who all these people know. All these people know Ava Muhammad, right? They know her very well, don't they? His legal counsel. Everybody knows Ava Muhammad. She's not a nobody in Nation of Islam. Okay, well, she was there too. Who wanted to evaluate the legal merits of the Moorish position. I think she was favorably disposed towards what they had to say. However, I will leave it to her to render her own judgment to you in her professional capacity. Her professional capacity? Okay, so make sure you do your research on what is Ava Muhammad's professional capacity. And if her professional capacity was in favor of the Moorish position, that means anybody else who took the bar, it should be the same with them, right? There shouldn't be any dispute. There should be zero dispute with anybody relative to these people misclassified as Negro, black, colored, claiming themselves as Moors. There should be no dispute. No one should be disputing anything. If they're talking about they got bar cards and all that stuff, they know the law and all this. Everybody should be down with this. Finally, I wish to say that we met on the evening of June 8th in a pavilion in Druid Park.
under the new crescent moon and star. The western sky still red with the sunset. I felt the spirits of Noble Drew Ali and the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Without going further, I feel something very, very special has occurred to make the Moorish Science Temple and the Nation of Islam allies. We met again at the study group in Baltimore on June 9th. I pray on your return that you and the Honorable Grand Sheikh Dingo L will meet and let the marriage take place. And obviously they had to meet. Obviously they had to meet. Obviously these people know what's going on if they're going to talk about some of the reference points was Jesse Jackson, the Leeds Bay case, you go look that up, and Muhammad Ali, who we know used to be Nation of Islam, who we know dodged the draft because he proclaimed his nationality and stopped saying that he's Cassius Clay. Right? So, if where'd the money go that Gaddafi gave him? Good question. How come nobody's asking NOI that? How come NOI isn't speaking up about what they did with the Gaddafi money? Why aren't they talking up? Because apparently, you know, there was supposed to be some black hair care products and stuff like that by the NOI so they can stop on the white man and they can have their own stuff and all that stuff. But they're not going to go there. None of them are going to go there. Why won't they go there? Because if they went there, then that would mean that FOH to all these people and honors to the noble prophet Drew Ali. You mean FOH to Jesse Jackson and all his BS. FOH to anybody talking about Negro, black, colored, whatever. FOH to any African whoever's. FOH to any Indian whoever's, because Drew Ali was Cherokee and he never called us Indians or Cherokee tribes or anything like that. He said that we're Moors. But all this stuff, Kyrie, Ye, and all this stuff is to distract you from Noble Drew Ali. Because these people know once they get your attention, they did their job. Once they get you to put your focus on these traitors instead of your savior, Noble Drew Ali, you're done for. Because remember, just like MC Light told them in the self-destruction, do you rob the rich and give to the poor? You're not guarding the door, so what you got a gun for? What? If you got a gun but you're not robbing the rich to give to the poor, then what you got a gun for? What are you doing with that? And what's the purpose of you having that if you're not going to be Robin Hood? Oh, so they can murder their brothers and all that stuff. They can go stick people up and whatever like that. And then just play games with you. Play thug games with you. But all these gangbanger whoever's, all of them could, the gangbanger whoever's alone could get together. Oh yeah, they tried to do that with, what did they say? Hashtag free whoever. Hashtag free this guy. Hashtag free that guy. But all of them are in Supermax. How come they're in Supermax? If they had some program to help the people, how come they go the Peace Stone Rangers to El Ruckins and their stuff is called Moorish Temple and they're wearing fezzes and all that stuff, and what is it that you're missing? Oh yeah, you're a dumbass. Niggers don't read, like Kyrie told you. I got a dictionary. I know what words mean. I'm not a dumbass. Everybody, skipped over that. Oh, the Jews are giving him orders. The Jews want him to do this and that. And they want him to this and that. No, how about the part where he said, go read, nigger? How come you not talking about that part? Why are you missing that? No, how come you're not reading? Your favorite player. You're not reading? But he's reading, but you're not reading? Okay, we get it. We get it. And this is why there's suffrage with our people. Because it was told to the Moors that man is the Lord of all the plane of manifests. Man is the Lord of protoplast. Man is the Lord of mineral and plants and beasts. But he gave up his birthrights just to gratify his lower self, which is what they have all these people doing. Giving up their birthrights to gratify their lower self, aka crossover. AKA crossover. Sell out. Turn traitor. Commit treason. Remember, not lost their birthright, gave up their birthright. Gave up and lost is two different things. But all's not lost, because man will regain his lost estate, which is his birthright. His heritage, which is his birthright. This is what Kanye gained back. You realize when he was dumb nigger, there was no issue. As soon as he starts saying that he's Sioux, which we just showed you, that the Sioux are Moors and all that stuff. As soon as he's figured that stuff out, now they got issues with him and stuff like that. Now he's not taking vaxes and all that. You realize the pattern? It didn't register with you, the pattern? Our people are that dense. The sorcerers did that good of a job on our people. Right? Because everybody else, they follow their prophet. They don't play games like we play games. Everybody else has a prophet, and whatever their prophet said, they're riding with what their prophet said, 100. Niggers have a prophet, they don't want what he brought. They want to be Negro, black, colored, and everything else under the sun. And then complain when they get treated like niggers. Don't be a gratifier of your lower self and give up your birthright. Don't be a gratifier of the lower self and give up your birthright. Be a gratifier of your higher self and keep your birthright. Because once you give up your birthright, that's abandonment. And I would suggest you go look up abandonment in a law dictionary so you can know what happens when you give up your birthright. Like our people have been giving up their birthright
which is why they're in this predicament that they're in right now. No different than NOI gave up their birthright, and then now they got crescents facing the west when it's supposed to be facing the east. And they got the star detached from the crescent because they gave up their birthright. But you know, this is willingly though. They didn't give it up out of ignorance or because they were under some type of sorcery. They gave it up because they're a sellout. They gave it up because they're a sellout. And they know that they're a sellout. Because they know that they're supposed to be telling our people that they're Moors. They're not supposed to be talking to some Moors in the crowd and talking about, oh yeah, the Moors. We see the Moors in their fezzes and the black faces under the fezzes. No, there's a brown face under the fez. Stop the BS. Stop the dumb stuff. But you know, Moors start talking, and then Moors are the bad guys. Moors are the sellouts. Moors put our people in slavery because the Moors are so evil. I don't know why the Moors did this. All right, whatever, nigger. Whatever, nigger. And you know, just for the two in the back, honors to the Moors worldwide who know the truth about their nationality and their birthrights, who know that they're not Negro, black, colored. Honors to all the Moors who stand for truth. Honors to all the Moors who, whether they know that they're Moors or not, but they stand for truth. Honors to you. And we'll close out with another one. Another truth seeker that found truth and told these people FOH when they started playing games with truth. Honors to all the Moors. Honors to the Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Peace and love to all.
With a state of empathy, right? Regardless of what color, what creed, what race you are, I look at people as human beings. I think that's important. But life is always about taking a stand and holding principles. So I want to explain what I feel like my stance is as a black male in this world, okay? And conversations that I've had with my brothers and sisters in the black community.
Is that IG? Is that Allah? Because he said black? Is that IG playing games? Then why would they play games? If he's, talking to his black guys and his black people and all that stuff. It was probably Allah. Because he already knows that that's some BS. Allah knows that that's some BS. You can't make this stuff up. There's no pause button on Instagram. There's no pause. Why is it pausing? My Farrakhan plays smooth, no issues. But Moors already know what's up. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. And for those who doubt, you who doubt whether the Prophet and his principles are right for the redemption of our people, ask yourself, why did the stuff pause when he started talking about black people? Why the stuff pause when you talk about black people? What's the point being made here? Remember, there's no pause button on Instagram. You can't stop video from playing. You could only mute it, and then as you see, ain't no mute on or anything like that. Why is he frozen? Because the black stuff is some BS. All he has the hand on the chest giving you the Islam and all that stuff when it's frozen. Stop the BS. All these people talking BS. Talking BS about people are anti-Semite and all that. How are you selling foreskins? How are you selling foreskins? You got nerve to call people anti-Semite. What is going on here? What is going on here? Foreskin pushers. What the hell? Who's buying foreskins? Rabbi Aaron, fresh baby foreskins for sale. Oh, what the hell? These people are nuts. This is what's going on right now because you don't want to be Moors. Because you don't want to be Moors and you want to play games. You want to play games, fine. Play your games. Play your games. Now check this out now. Check this out. Rabbi Zayin is believed to have sold an estimated 5,200 foreskins since 2015, when he started selling pieces of human skin on Craigslist and advocating their aphrodisiac qualities, as well as their miraculous cancer-curing and longevity effects. He would sell them in small bags, fried in oil, with added spices and salt, like onion rings. Which made them more palatable and easier to consume. Right? Foreskin rings these guys are selling. He talking about people are freaking anti-Semite. His products were so popular and in demand, he was forced to purchase foreskins from synagogues around the country. This is what you're dealing with. What the hell? Don't laugh too long before they kick you out the gym, call you anti-Semite. He harassed me and forced my poor son to have 3 circumcisions in 3 years. He barely has any skin left on his genitals.
How you going back? How you going back 2 more times? How you going back 2 more times to get circumcision when you got one already? How you going back 2 more times? Don't they take all the skin the first time? How you going back 2 more times after the first time to get circumcision? These are your leaders. These are the ones you want. Because you don't want Moors, no problem. You got the foreskin pushers. This is what you got now. This is what you got. All products claim to prevent, diagnose, treat, mitigate, or cure cancer must be approved by the FDA for safety and efficiency reasons, and can be dangerous to both people and pets. If convicted, Zayn could face a $500,000 fine and up to 1,000 years in prison. 1,000 years. 1,000 years in prison, selling foreskins. Oh yeah, don't forget. Don't forget. Don't forget. These people have a culture of eat you. They have a culture of eat you. So we're laughing, but it's pretty serious. It's pretty serious. You know we're laughing. This is pretty serious. In case you're late, we just found out that the rabbi got arrested for selling foreskins, fried foreskins. flavored foreskins too, by the way. Just so you're familiar. Just so you know, flavored foreskins by the rabbi. Just so you know. An elderly Montreal rabbi has been arrested for sex crimes against a minor that go back 25 years. 25 years. Let's check and see if it's a real thing. Let's check it. Eating foreskins tradition. Let's just see if anything comes up under this. Let's just see. Oh shit. This shit is crazy. Bizarre foods. Men eat foreskins. Marjudara tribe, where boys eat foreskins. Oral suction circumcision. Atambokua. Atam Bahoaka. Atam Bobaka. Madagascar, numbering around 50,000. So it's a thing. Eating foreskins is a thing.
I'd rather be anti-Semite than a pedo. I'll go with anti-Semite instead of going pedo. Rabbi Shlomo Lieb Mund picked up on an arrest warrant by police at Toronto's Pearson Airport when he flew from his home in Israel to spend Passover with one of his children. Rabbi Mund has been charged with sexual assault, sexual interference with a victim under 16 years of age, and incest. I thought the Moabites and the Canaanites and all that stuff were the incest people and all that. Isn't that story that they tell you? They didn't tell you that the rabbis were doing the incest? They didn't bring that part up, did they? Interesting. The victim, now an adult, can't be named due to court-ordered publication ban on his or her identity. He or she went to police 2 years ago where the alleged attack happened some 25 years ago. 25 years. Right? 25 years. And then the foreskin seller was the 5,200 foreskins. Right? Honestly, I don't really have any specific hope for the outcome of what this is, said the victim in an interview with CJN Daily. But just that he's arrested and that the word will go out and the victims will have a chance to speak up is enough for me. I don't know if justice will ever be served for him, but that's not really anything I could control. Faced rebuke by Montreal's rabbinical court. Rabbi Mund worked in Montreal for years and ran a synagogue in his house. He provided counseling to members of his congregation. In early 2000s, other sex crimes complaints against Rabbi Mund were brought to the attention of Montreal's Court of Rabbis, known as the Jewish Community Council. The Jewish Community Council. The rabbis held an investigation concerning improper behavior with women of his community. According to Rabbi Saul Emanuel, the current executive director of the Jewish Community Council, hearings were held at that time. Although Rabbi Mund declined to participate, he was ordered to step down as rabbi of his congregation. I do remember when the original claims came up and they were verified, and we had a whole gamut of rabbis across Montreal that were involved in the situation. The rabbis of the Jewish Community Council were fully engaged in the issue to ensure that he was removed quickly and not continue to be involved in any congregation. Rabbi Emanuel says that it was no secret that people in Montreal knew about Rabbi Mund's reputation. Obviously, everyone was talking about it, just like everyone talks about anything else that happens in the public view. We were dissatisfied to hear the claims, but certainly we acted, as I said, immediately and promptly to address the issue. There's Rabbi Emanuel right there. Thank you, Rabbi, for talking up against the pedo, incestuous rabbi. Thanks for talking up. No charges were ever laid. And the complaint did not go to the police. Although Rabbi Emanuel points out that it is the rabbinical council's policy these days to direct victims of assault to go to the authorities. We do not cover things up. And certainly a person should go and report if something has happened. That's the law. They have a right, he said. So they have a right to go to the law, so-called law, if they get assaulted by a rabbi. Now, should Kanye be going to the law for the rabbis and whoever else that's assaulting him? Should Kyrie go to the law for any of the rabbis or whoever that's assaulting him? You know, assault's assault, regardless. You know, sexual, verbal, physical, mental. Interesting paradox here. In Rabbi Munn's case, there was no further engagement to encourage him to express remorse for his actions, he said. Rabbi Emanuel denies that Rabbi Munn was also ordered to leave town. No, that's an old problem, and I attended conferences regarding that. If anybody does that, all they're doing is transferring the problem to another city, and that's not what happened. Munn took the decision to move to Israel. So, hold on a second. So, in Rabbi Munn's case, there was no further engagement to encourage him to express remorse for his actions. Then how come Kyrie had to express remorse for his actions and he didn't even do anything? It seems like there's some type of hypocritical contradiction going on here. That the rabbi who for 25 years molested children, that they're adults now, and they even know that ain't nothing gonna happen to him or whatever like that. They already know nothing's gonna happen. But then somebody who just posted something that's said to be anti-Semitic, they got to apologize. They got to meet with the rabbis and learn about the faith of whatever and all that. But the pedophile doesn't have to express remorse? Interesting. They're interesting. The plot thickens. When asked if rabbis have the same legal duty to report child abuse to police in Quebec that teachers and therapists do, Rabbi Emanuel said they absolutely do. He did not say whether that was done in the Munn case. In general, he said, the rabbis first investigate to ensure that the grievance is not a personal vendetta, but rather a legitimate crime. These plots are thick. These plots are peanut butter. Oh, let's see what the rabbi has to say.
And joining me now from Montreal is Rabbi Saul Emanuel of the Jewish Community Council of Montreal. Welcome to the CJN Daily, Rabbi.
Thank you very much, and it's great to be with you and great to meet you.
Well, likewise, I want to start with the immediate story. We are talking because there is a charge, an arrest has been made of a former Montreal rabbi, a very distinguished rabbi, for sexual assault, molestation, and sexual crimes against minors dating back 25 years ago. We can't say the victim's complainant's name, but the arrest was made in Ottawa. The arrest was made in Toronto at the airport. Just around Pesach time. We have all the files. There's a ban on publication, as I said. First of all, was the Jewish Community Council aware of this Rabbi Munn's legal charges?
No, we were not aware of these legal charges, not at all.
And what, if any, in the past 25, 30 years more, has the JCC done in connection with Rabbi Munn and complaints about improper behavior while he was living in Montreal?
So I've only been in Montreal 23 years, but I do remember when the original claims came up that were verified, and we had a whole gamut of rabbis across Montreal that were involved in the situation. We met frequently at that particular time. He was removed from his position. The rabbis of the Jewish Community Council were fully engaged in the issue to ensure that he was removed quickly and not continue to be involved in any congregation. And at that time, he then moved to Israel. And that was our involvement. But certainly the rabbis in unity all stood up against anything that was being claimed and ensured that it was immediately ceased, that he could no longer be practicing as a rabbi of a congregation.
Now, what kind of complaints were mostly against children, students, adults? What did you hear?
The complaints at that time, I think, were in his relationship to women more than what we were hearing otherwise. But this goes back a very, very long time, and I don't recollect everything that happened. It's a tremendously long time ago. But whatever complaints we had, as I said, were followed up immediately and promptly. And of course, it was in times where it wasn't always pleasant. You know, these things are not always brought up publicly, but it became a public event, unfortunately. And we had to act, and we acted forthrightly and took the right action.
When you said public event, what does that mean?
Well, obviously everyone was talking about it, just like everyone talks about anything else that happens in the public view. And today more so with social media and everything that happens. In that time, it was a little bit more primitive than it was now, but certainly it was a talking point, which obviously is not pleasant, not good for the people, not good for the victims, not good for anybody. And but we were dissatisfied to hear the claims, but certainly we acted, as I said, immediately and promptly to address the issue.
And was there like an actual hearing or hearings with witnesses? How does that work? I'm not familiar with the process. And has that changed since then to now?
Well, you know, the Torah says clearly that one is supposed, if one has a claim, if someone comes to us with a claim, we can't just believe the person coming with the claim. You have to give the other party a chance to answer. So you always have to hear the claimant and you have to hear the defendant, just like a judge in any civil court. Same thing. You can't have one person standing before the judge. The judge has to have the defendant and the victim, wherever it is. So we obviously gave an opportunity, and we do this often. If somebody has a claim, we give an opportunity to the person to defend themselves. Sometimes they appear, sometimes they don't appear. And whatever the case is, the rabbis act within the realm of halakha, of the Jewish law, and they give an opportunity. And if the person doesn't appear, they have to continue doing what they can with or without the person. In this particular case, obviously, if I remember correctly, the rabbi was spoken to and the rabbis addressed their concerns thereafter.
So he didn't appear, or he did? Was there like a formal...
At that particular time, and again, I'm saying this totally from memory because it's a long, long time ago. I don't believe he did appear. Some conversations took place, messages were sent. I don't believe he did appear, but with what the rabbis had heard, we had to act quickly to take care of the issue and make sure that it was eradicated immediately.
How many victims did you deal with? Or how many complaints?
I don't remember the number of complaints exactly, but obviously it was serious enough that action had to be taken.
Why not go to the police?
Even one person is one too many. One person is one too many. So even if you had one complaint, that would be sufficient for anybody to act if it's a complaint that's verified and confirmed.
Right, but this was so serious that, if I'm not mistaken, the rabbi said, you have to leave the city and move to Israel because you can't be with us anymore. Go away.
Rabbis do not
We
do
suggest
that.
you leave town.
No,
No?
we don't do that. That's an old problem, and I've attended conferences regarding that. All that we're doing, if anybody does that, all they're doing is transferring the problem to another city. And that's not what happened. We made it very clear that he can no longer be practicing. He then took the decision to move to Israel.
Did he express remorse? Did he admit it?
We never engaged. We never engaged at that time. We never engaged. So it was unfortunately not something that happened.
Mm-hmm. And what about the victims then? Was there any compensation, financial help for psychology or mental health counseling? What's done in those cases, or is that
in these cases, we always recommend to send victims to, they should go for help. Obviously, they need to get help, they need to get support, moral support. And certainly in those particular cases, anybody who would have come, the rabbis would have recommended that they get help and go to the professional people who handle that.
But you don't cover that. There's no fund for that.
We are totally not involved in funding of social work. That is something that's taken on by other great organizations in our city who help out tremendously.
Would you be able to say how many sexual abuse cases of children and since those days that you've had, or maybe if not the total number, how many you have a year?
Just a reminder that these are the people who are saying people are anti-Semite and they're making a big deal, about people posting links for stuff. But this is what they have going on. This is what they have going on. They're backed up with molestation stuff. But they're not going to talk about that too much. They rather talk about this guy over here who posted a link. A link poster is what's making the news. The link poster. That's what everybody's talking about. But then this goes to show that the other guy who was on Drink Champs, even that guy said stuff that all of this is proving that he was actually right what he was saying. He was actually right what he was saying. He was right, because if this is not making public, but a link poster is making public, then that means they actually have that power that he was talking about that they have, right? They actually have that power. They have that power. How is it that, let's for the people who are late. For the people who are late. People who just arrived. How come the foreskin selling rabbi isn't in the public? How come that's not in the public? But a link poster is the biggest news for the past 2 weeks. Was it 2 weeks this stuff's going on? 2 weeks this stuff's going on. You never heard them talk about the foreskin selling rabbis, though. Why are they talking about the foreskin selling rabbis? How come that's not in the public? It's because no one can talk about it, maybe? It's because no one can talk about it. And then if no one can talk about it, why can't anyone talk about it, but they can talk about a link being posted? Now remember, nobody didn't say anything to these people. Nobody made any statements or anything like that. Nobody called them synagogue of Satan or nothing like that. Just posted a link. And stuff's in the news for 2 weeks. Every sports whoever talking about it. But no one can talk about the foreskin selling rabbis. That should let you know something. That should be a clear indication to you that certain people have to have certain people have to have some type of power that they're trying to pretend that they don't have. Have to. It's the only way that it makes sense. Right. Child molestation. Rabbi. Child molestation. Why can't they talk about the child molestation the rabbi is doing? How come? It should be very clear. It should be very clear that the people who are pointing at people saying anti-Semite and all that, that's a diversion. Because automatically, if you think the guy's anti-Semite, then you think that he's hating on or whatever like that, so you're not even going to go check to see what's going on. You're not even going to go check. The other people know the niggers don't read. Be careful out there. Guard your foreskins. How come? How come certain people who post a link is in the news for 2 weeks, but the people who are calling people idiots and stuff like that, the people who are calling people idiots, they're getting sued for promoting fake crypto stuff. Robbing people of millions, billions. Robbing people of billions. But, you know, they're not going to talk about Tom Brady and all that stuff because, you know, his wife knows witchcraft and all that stuff. They ain't trying to get hexed by her and all that. They're going to make sure that they keep Tom Brady's name out their mouth because his wife is a witch. You didn't know? Tom Brady's wife is a witch? Yeah, she's a witch. In case you didn't know, let's just see if we find it. Let's see if we find it. Just so you... Let's see if you find it. Let's see if it comes up.
Any superstitions going into the game? Any special thing you carried into the game on Sunday that you had tucked away somewhere?
I did. I always, you know, I've learned a lot from my wife over the years. And she's so about the power of intention, you know, and believing things that are really going to happen. And she always makes a little altar for me at the game because she just wills it so much. And so she put together a little altar for me that I could bring with pictures of my kids. And I have these little special stones and healing stones and protection stones. And she has me wear a necklace and take these drops she makes. And I say all these mantras. And I stopped questioning her a long time ago. I did. I just shut up and listened. And at first I was like, this is kind of crazy. And then about 4 years ago, we were playing the Seahawks, and she said, you better listen to me. This is your year, but this is all the things you're going to have to do to win. And I did all those things, and by God, you don't work. It was pretty good.
Oh, sorry, ex-wife. I'm not in this realm. I'm just, you know, just in the back, just looking, just see some stuff, you know. Ex-wife.
This is your year, but this is all the things you're going to have to do to win. And I did all those things, and by God, you don't work. It was pretty good. And then in 2015, it was about early January, and she said, you know how much I love you? And I said, yeah. And she said, I just want to let you know this is not going to be your year. Oh. And of course we lost. I said, what does 16 look like? And she said, 16 is going to be your year. So it was early January this year, and I said, babe, asking, like, do we have a chance? And she said, yeah, but you're going to have to do a lot of work, and you're really going to have to listen to me. So, man, I listened to her. And right after the game, she said, see, I did a lot of work. You do your work, I do mine. She said, you're lucky you married a witch. I'm just a good witch.
Interesting. Interesting. I guess the luck ran out. You shouldn't have got rid of the witch, huh? You shouldn't have got rid of the witch. You shouldn't have. You shouldn't have. So more message me. I'm talking with this sister from the Cameroon, and she doesn't know who the Moors are. I want to help her find out about who the Moors are. Could you send me something just so I can sort of inspire her to consider? Said, well, she's already a national. You don't have to convince her of anything. You don't have to do any talking with her. Pictures tell 1,000 words. She's a national already. Just go look up Kings of Cameroon. Kings of Cameroon go looked up, and then Sultans come up. Sultans of Cameroon.
Destroy any company in the United States of America if they wanted to, if they acted collectively. $1.8 trillion is no freaking joke. Do you agree? This response here is something I said about black power and black influence, okay? I'm going to give you one simple example how powerful the black community in America is. Just retail spending power. That coin, that money is power. Now look at this. Right here on top of Google, the African American population, yes, historically held an extremely powerful position in the retail marketplace, excuse me. Look at this. You guys, the black community, known to drive trends across food, beauty, media, and more. Okay, this is just one aspect of black power. Look at this. The reach, projected reach by 2024 is 1.8 trillion. That's a T, y'all. $1 trillion. $1.8 trillion. Part of this thread here, I stated that blacks in America, yes, African Americans, they can create or destroy any company in the United States of America if they wanted to, if they acted collectively. $1.8 trillion is no freaking joke.
Jane, when you look at what Jane, I fundamentally believe what's driving all of this is white fear. Republicans are scared to death of black people. They're scared to death of Latinos. Hell, they scared of conscious white folks. And what they're trying to... Go ahead.
Wait a minute. You're using all the wrong terms in the first place.
See, I was waiting on you to go there. Go ahead.
There is no such thing as white people and black people. There are only people who are different shades of brown. But as long as you use the words white and black, white, the definition of white is pure and unvarnished. Black is the color of savagery and ignorance. Now,
go there. Go ahead.
There is no such thing as white people and black people. There are only people who are different shades of brown. But as long as you use the words white and black, white, the definition of white is pure and unvarnished. Black is the color of savagery and ignorance. Now, as long as you use those two terms, we're going to be at one another's throats. If you'd ever get around to the point that you could look at me and see that I'm not white, my shirt's white, my hair is white, my skin is not.
Go there. Go ahead.
There is no such thing as white people and black people. There are only people who are different shades of brown. But But as long as you use the words white and black, white, the definition of white is pure and unvarnished. Black is the color of savagery and ignorance. Now, as long as you use those two terms, we're going to be at one another's throats. If you'd ever get around to the point that you could look at me and see that I'm not white, my shirt's white, my hair is white, my skin is not. And I can look at CJ there and I can see that his hair is black and his skin is not. If we could get over the idea of several different races, maybe melanemic people, which is what we white folks ought to be called, could get used to realizing that we're all, the whole thing is so ridiculous.
Go ahead.
There is no such thing as white people and black people. There are only people who are different shades of brown. But as long as you use the words white and black, white, the definition of white is pure and unvarnished. Black is the color of savagery and ignorance. Now, as long as you use those two terms, we're going to be at one another's throats. If you'd ever get around to the point that you could look at me and see that I'm not white, my shirt's white, my hair is white, my skin is not. And I can look at CJ there and I can see that his hair is black and his skin is not. If we could get over the idea of several different races, maybe melanemic people, which is what we white folks ought to be called, could get used to realizing that we're all, the whole thing is so ridiculous. Words are the most powerful weapon devised by humankind. I'm sitting here listening to words being used in ways that will separate us indefinitely. As long as you call yourselves white and black, and as long as you call yourselves members of different races, that, by God, is how long this problem is going to last. The color of savagery and ignorance. Now, as long as you use those two terms, we're going to be at one another's throats. If you'd ever get around to the point that you could look at me and see that I'm not white, my shirt's white, my hair is white, my skin is not. And I can look at CJ there and I can see that his hair is black and his skin is not. If we could get over the idea of several different races, maybe melanemic people, which is what we white folks ought to be called, could get used to realizing that we're all, the whole thing is so ridiculous. Words are the most powerful weapon devised by humankind. I'm sitting here listening to words being used in ways that will separate us indefinitely. As long as you call yourselves white and black, and as long as you call yourselves members of different races, that, by God, is how long this problem is going to last.
Power and black influence, okay? I'm going to give you one simple example how powerful the black community in America is. Just retail spending power. That coin, that money is power. Now look at this. Right here on top of Google, the African American population, yes, historically held an extremely powerful position in the retail marketplace, excuse me. Look at this. You guys, the black community, known to drive trends across food, beauty, media, and more. Okay, this is just one aspect of black power. Look at this. The projected reach by 2024 is 1.8 trillion. That's a T, y'all. $1 trillion. $1.8 trillion. Part of this thread here, I stated that blacks in America, yes, African Americans, they can create or destroy any company in the United States of America if they wanted to, if they acted collectively. $1.8 trillion is no freaking joke. You agree? Power. Now look at this. Right here on top of Google, the African American population, yes, historically held an extremely powerful position in the retail marketplace, excuse me. Look at this. You guys, the black community, known to drive trends across food, beauty, media, and more. Okay, this is just one aspect of black power. Look at this. The projected reach.
That's why Noble Drew Ali told these incompetent adjectives 100 years ago. 100 years ago. 100 years ago? What's the yellow spending power. You ever heard of the yellow spending power before? You never heard of yellow spending power? Never? How come? How come you never heard of yellow spending power? How come they never bring up the red people spending power? No polka dot people spending power? Nothing? The only people that have spending power in the trillions, because remember, you know, we remember when it used to be billions. Now it's trillions, and these people still haven't figured it out. Still haven't figured it out. What the problem is. Why haven't they figured out the problem yet? Why did it go from billions to trillions and people are still saying the same stuff about these niggers in America who don't know their own power? Why don't they know their own power? Why don't they know? Because if you go check everybody else, they have prophet that came to them and brought them their salvation. Whatever that salvation was for that time that their people needed it. And what did they do? They listened to their prophet. They applied what their prophet told them. And now they're not out here complaining. They're not out here bitching, marching up and down the place for stuff. They have what they have. People even went so far to make up a fake nationality, and now they're telling everybody else that they can't tell them that they're not this and that, or they're anti-Semite and all that. With a fake nationality. That's not even a real nationality that they're doing that with. They went and made a fake nationality, and they got further than the niggers in America who keep playing the same game. The black game. Jane Elliott's hair was black when she was telling these people stop the BS. Now her hair is white. She's still telling these dumb niggers stop the BS. And remember, it's only them. Because the people who say white and all that stuff, they know that they're German and Polish and French and Dutch and all that. They know their nationality. It's only these idiots in America who don't know who they are. And they want to be everything else except who they actually are. Drew Ali told them in the 20s who they are. Drew Ali told these people in the 20s, the time has come when every nation must worship under their own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. And that is ancient. He never brought that. That was before him. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father and strayed after the gods of Europe, of whom they knew nothing. And today they still stray after the gods of Europe, and the biggest god they stray after is the same God that they got trillions in the spending power. And because they don't know themselves, because they honor not the foremothers and forefathers of their ancestors, they take those trillions and give it to everybody else and make them rich. And then complain about racism and poor and conditions. The conditions of our people because the white man, and then the black man can't have anything because the black man has been the most. All right, let's just see what they say. Let's just see what they say. Let's just see. This is Jews and blacks in the early modern world. By Abravanel's time, at least one Jewish writer explicitly communicated the notion that Ham stood accursed in both servitude and blackness. The 14th century Yemenite author Nathaniel B. Yashahu presented in his terms that make it difficult to determine whether he was alluding to the religious ignorance of blacks alleged in Islamic discourse or the Canaanite immoralities purported in the Bible. A slave of slaves. Everyone serves God, but he, Canaan, serves them. Sound familiar? And then who are the descendants of the ancient Canaanites? Oh, these same dumb niggers in America, right? Same ones who are complaining that they have nothing right now. They're the same ones who serve everybody else while everybody else serves their God. And then you ask any of these Asiatics in America, let me see your God. They show you a picture of some European. And then everybody knows that that's the son of God. That ain't God. Isn't that incompetence? Isn't that incompetence? Everybody's going to point to this European as the son of God, and then these Asiatics in America are talking about that's their God. The son of God is their God. Isn't that incompetence? Doesn't that mean they don't even read their own holy book? But then they want some type of respect on the planet. They want people to stop murdering them in the street. Why? Why would they stop murdering in the street? Why would they stop putting you in prison if your dumbass is willing to go out there and put the shackles on yourself? Why would they stop? If our spending power is in the trillions, and then if we take our spending and put it on ourselves, that means nobody else is going to have anything because everything's going to be ours. Why would they stop you from being black? They can't. Oh yeah, they're dumb niggers. That's why they can't realize what's going on. Let's carry on. Blessed be Adonai, God of Shem, that all the prophets will come from Shem, and let Canaan be slave to them, and they will be black and ugly. And the Shekinah, God's presence, will not dwell among them. Sound familiar? All the stuff going on with these so-called blacks, wherever they are in the world, specifically these ones who don't have a nationality and call themselves black, based on all these negative things happening to these people, isn't it clear that God's presence does not dwell among them if their conditions are shit everywhere and everybody else's conditions are fine? And then we check everybody else. They know who their God is. They know what their nationality is. They know the finance has to go around our community 20 times before it even goes outside of our community. But these idiots in America who don't know themselves, who don't have a nationality, they keep giving everything. They give their energy to everybody else. They give their finance to everybody else. They project positive thoughts on everybody else and project negative thoughts on themselves, and then want to know how come our conditions suck. And they don't want to get the message. Well, let's give you the message again, just in case you forgot. Message from Noble Drew Ali. The time has come. Remember, this is the 20s, right? This is the 20s right now. Isn't this the 20s? It's 20s right now, right? Okay. This is the 20s right now. And then he said this in the 20s. And then the conditions are still the same because nobody carried on what Noble Drew Ali told these Asiatics in America to carry on. They wanted to do their own thing. They wanted to worship some other BS, invisible stuff and all that. Don't want to honor their foremothers and forefathers who they see next to them every day. Don't want to honor women who they see every day. They want her to be at the club on a pole, putting ones in her thong string. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. So everybody was a slave at some point to somebody. Immediately, they realized, hold on a second, I'm not supposed to be a slave. I need to honor my foremothers and forefathers, so I'm not a slave. And then they went and they did their research, and they found out who the God of their ancient foremothers and forefathers are. They found out about the religion of their ancient foremothers and forefathers. They found out about the principles of their foremothers and forefathers, and then they got out of slavery tomorrow. Why is that so hard for our people? Why is that? Why is it rocket science for our people to get out of this mess that we're in when everybody was a slave at some point? Everyone was a slave to somebody at some point in their human career. And what they do? They started honoring their foremothers and forefathers so their days can be long on the earthland. As soon as they honored their foremothers and forefathers, the tides turned in their favor. Now, instead of them being off the boat drowning, now they're on the boat going in the correct direction that the tide will take their nation. Every nation has suffered slavery. There ain't no nation that wasn't a slave to somebody if the world is billions of years old. Every nation suffered slavery. Every nation. There's no one nation that was superior forever. Everybody was a slave to somebody. Why is it that these people just don't get it? Why is it that 100 years has to go by that their prophet came to them, brought them their God back, brought them their religion back, brought them their nationality back. They didn't want it. Now, 100 years later, they're complaining. They're marching and picketing, still not getting anything. They want affirmative action, still not getting it. They want civil rights, still not getting it. But then dykes and fudge packers and whoever else, they can take civil rights and then they're going to get billions to have their civil rights, whatever. And then they're going to make up a fake flag, and then they're going to make it seem as if because they got a flag and stuff like that. So they're a nation. And then now they got gay books in the school and all that stuff. They got pedophile books in the school. They got lesbian books in the school. And you're still missing it? You're still out to lunch? You're still out to lunch and it's dinner time? All right. People are going to learn the easy way or the hard way. This is not rocket science. The metonymic ham, symbol of blacks and blackness. The characteristics of Abravanel's ham coincided, not surprisingly, with those he attributed to blacks as a whole. He stated as much himself in his commentary to Genesis 10:1 immediately after telling readers about Ham's nature. And you will see how the characteristics of these three fathers are found in the nations that come from them. For from Ham comes Cush and Egypt and Libya and Canaan. For they are all, until today, ugly looking, and their figures are black as raven, steeped in licentiousness, and drawn after the animal lusts, lacking intelligence and knowledges, and lacking political states and the degrees of good qualities and bravery. Isn't that these people who call themselves black? Isn't that them? Isn't it so glorious that they're getting honored with Grammys for being whores and drug dealers and all that? They're getting record deals. They just got to shut up and dribble and all that stuff. $1 million slaves. Drawn after the animal lusts. All they want to do is go live, to go twerk and all that stuff. Every time they go live, all you're seeing is camel toes and cleavage. Lacking intelligence, lacking knowledge, lacking political states and degrees of good qualities, lacking bravery. All these people are cowards. They're going to go murder their brother for stepping on their shoes. They're going to murder their brother because they walked in a neighborhood that they don't belong in. They're going to murder their brother because they've been selling drugs on their turf and you can't do that and all that stuff. But when highwaymen come, they're running. Isn't that cowardice? They're not standing there with their guns when highwayman's coming. Why are they running off? I thought they just shot their brother in the face last night. Didn't they have brains leaking on the concrete in the song and all that stuff? Maybe a brother murdered over shooting dice. And then they're going to go to the memorial. Our brothers. You didn't listen to their lyrics? You didn't listen to their song lyrics? All the savagery in their lyrics? Why they got all the savagery in their lyrics and all that stuff? And then after they get murdered, people want to put on t-shirts and start talking about honors to them. Honors to my brother because he was a good man. No, he was a drug dealer. Stop the BS. Stop the dumb stuff. He was a nigger. Stop the dumb stuff. But they want to stop the dumb stuff. Why? Oh yeah, because they didn't listen to the message. They didn't listen to the message that was told to them. Let's just put this message out there again because it seems people aren't getting this. I don't know why they're not getting this. Everybody else gets it. Jane Elliott gets it. And she's telling these niggers, and then they're still going to go and then say that they're black. The time has come when every nation must worship under their own vine and fig tree. If that isn't apparent to you, that has to be happening right now, then the BS will continue. No problem. Moors already know. We already got our birthright. Honors to all the Moors out there who know that they're not Negro, black, colored, and they're not playing the victim games. Honors to the Moors out there who are responsible parents, teaching their children right, teaching their children principles so that their children can grow up and be responsible members of the human family. Honors to the mothers out there who dress respectfully and don't look like whores every time they go outside. Honors to the fathers out there who aren't having to pay child support and all that stuff because they picked a good woman. They didn't pick some harlot to be their baby mother. Every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact that they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. Due to the fact they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. That is why, because they didn't honor the creed and principles of their forefathers, that is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774. And the word Negro, black, and colored, and Indian, and Ethiopian, and all the other names of abuse that these people adopt was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent. They were not of Israelite descent. They were not of Ham's descent. They were not of Canaan's descent. They were not of ancient Egyptian descent. They were not of Anunnaki descent. They were not of the gods of the whatever descent. Moorish descent. Moorish descent. Why Moorish descent? Why that descent and not anything else? Why Moorish descent? Because everybody knows the architecture of the Iberian Peninsula received no greater impress than that left upon it by the Moors, Moorish descent. Coming into the country in 710 and holding ground in Spain for upward of 800 years. Remember, that wasn't blacks, that was Moors that did that. Their influence upon the architecture and arts of the country is of undoubted magnitude. The evidence of their work is to be seen in their stronghold in southern Spain, but their influence reached at places far into the north due, no doubt, to the superior education and ability of the Moorish workmen. The influence of the Moors is to be traced in practically every style of Spain subsequent to their appearance in the peninsula. And it is to their influence, that tinge of Orientalism, Asiatics, so characteristic of the later school, came into vogue. The Moors were in no sense constructors. They were great decorators. Consequently, they came into Spain bringing with them a cosmopolitan architecture, and finding the Roman and Visigoth remains, grafted their art upon what they found. The result is the Mohammedan style of Spain, technically called Moorish or Moresque. And then when you go back and check the Romans and all them stuff, you already know that all of them were Asiatics too. They ain't no Europeans. Just go check. Just do your research. And ask yourself, why are they hiding history of dark-skinned people all throughout the world? Why are they going around and repainting stuff to have you think that some people were Europeans or something? To play the same game. The same game. Same thing that Drew Ali told you in the 20s. Because you honored not the principles of your foremothers and forefathers. Remember some years ago when they went into Persia and they started knocking off the heads of all the statues and stuff over there? Because the people didn't honor the foremothers and forefathers, so hey, we destroyed the stuff. Remember the same stuff that they did in ancient Egypt? The people didn't honor the foremothers and forefathers, so they just blew the noses off sphinxes and stuff like that so that people don't know what the hell's going on. Make it clear, make it evident that, oh, the black guys have nothing to do with this. All they are slaves in America, that's all. You don't know anything else but slavery. Oh yeah, that's true. We are 400 years in slave ships and we came over here. We came over here as slaves and all that stuff. That's all you know? All you know is your slave history? How come all we know is our slave history, nothing else? Why? Is that them, or is that us not honoring our foremothers and forefathers? So now we pay for it. The Moorish impression in today's Spain and Portugal can be seen most visibly in art, architecture, cooking, houses, and language. Moorish art and architecture are present in the intricate designs of Spanish and Portuguese gold and silver works, in porcelain, in ceramics, in delicate columns, in minarets, and such former Moorish centers as Toledo, Cordoba, Granada. Hold on a second. The Moorish impression on today's Spain and Portugal can be seen most visibly in art, architecture, cooking, houses, and languages? Didn't we hear that before? Hold on a second.
By 2024 is 1.8 trillion. That's a T, y'all. Trillion dollars. 1.8 trillion dollars. Part of this thread here, I stated that blacks in America, yes, African Americans, they can create or destroy any company in the United States of America if they wanted to, if they acted collectively. $1.8 trillion is no freaking joke. Do you agree? This response here is something I said about black power and black influence, okay? I'm going to give you one simple example how powerful the black community in America is. Just retail spending power. That coin, that money is power. Now look at this. Right here on top of Google, the African American population, yes, historically held an extremely powerful position in the retail marketplace. Look at this. You guys, the black community, known to drive trends across food, beauty, media, and more. Okay,
known to drive trends, food, beauty, media, and more. The Moorish impression on today's Spain and Portugal can be seen most visibly in art, architecture, cooking, houses, and language. Isn't that the same thing being said? Only thing, one guy is telling you black, and then somebody else is telling you Moorish. Now, what is Asia guy? If Asia guy told you Moorish, wouldn't that put a whole different perspective in these people's mind as to the power that they have? As soon as they say black, don't think that they're talking about your identity. Don't think that they're talking about your ethnicity. Don't think they're talking about your ancient foremothers and forefathers. They're talking about perception. Perception is not an identity. If Asian guy had yellow communities and yellow restaurants and yellow things relative to their culture, okay, fine, I guess you could say black. But guaranteed, 100% guaranteed, you're not going to find Asia and Orientals calling themselves yellow, anything. They're not going to talk about their towns are yellow. They're not going to talk about their neighborhoods are yellow. They're going to identify by nationality. What is the theme that is being told to you by this modern European, Jane Elliott? You're not black. They're not white. Furthermore, she should have went into people have nationalities. That's how you identify yourself. But, you know, dumb niggers, they don't listen to anything that anybody's saying. Right? Because after she says all this, Roland Martin and all these other nigger agents are going to go right back to calling you black. Even though they sat there and got corrected by their God, the modern European. You know the modern European is the nigger God, right? Their God came on their platform, corrected them on their platform. Their God, the modern European, came on their nigger platform, corrected them. Let's see, what date was this? 1 year ago, corrected them. Bet you go on Roland Martin right now, he's calling people black still. Bet you.
Used in ways that will separate us indefinitely. As long as you call yourselves white and black, and as long as you call yourselves members of different races, That, by God, is how long this problem is going to last.
So you call yourself, you said melaninic? What did you say?
Melanemic.
Melanemic. Okay. So
if you're anemic, you don't have enough iron in your blood to keep you healthy. So you're called anemic.
So Jay, in our public policy, how do we confront the melanemic Republicans who want to prevent the melanated other folk from being able to cast votes, who are able to put in all of these ridiculous measures that they claim is voter integrity, when in fact it is all designed to keep power in their melanemic hands?
Number one, you have to stop calling them Republicans, because Donald Trump knocked the L out of the word Republican. So what you end up with is a description of what he is most interested in, the area in which he is most interested. You've got to stop talking about Donald Trump. As long as you talk about him, he maintains his importance.
Oh no! I didn't mention Donald Trump. That's why I said the party. Because see, the mistake that Hillary Clinton made in 2016, she tried to separate.
Shut the hell up, Roland Martin. You're fat and lazy. Shut the hell up. People full of BS, carrying you all around, right? Running on the hamster wheel. And you can never figure this stuff out, because our people want to keep listening to the nigger boule leaders. And the nigger boule leaders are all the ones who keep calling you black. They keep calling you African. They keep calling you melanated. They keep calling you ancient this and ancient that, and don't identify you by a nationality like everybody else in the world. That's why we get nowhere as a people. You want unity? Have a nationality. No, we don't want to be nationality. We want to be black. All right, then keep going through the BS that you're going through then. It's that simple. This stuff is not rocket science. This is basic common sense. This is not rocket science. Go in the mirror, look at yourself. If you don't look like your hair, you're not black. Stop the BS. And if you got grays and all that stuff, people don't look like your hair. Stop the BS. What is our nationality? What nation are we claiming? And don't tell me some BS about Hebrews and all that stuff, because that's not a nation either. Stop the dumb stuff. Peep game. This is From the Pit to the Palace. Note by Gary Hall Sr. Note, the world's culture is deeply indebted to the children of Ham for their biblical involvement and the contributions to medicine, science, astronomy, art, architecture, military technique, and agriculture. Note, this is why Willie Lynch wanted us to fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes of black people. Willie Lynch knew that the Negro Moors conquered Europe in 711 AD and were the chief power there for the next 600 years. Writings and pictures describe them as coal, black with Negro hair. The Moorish contribution in science and art uplifted Europe from the Dark Ages, and before the departure from Europe, the blood of the Negroes was spread immensely throughout that continent. Many of today's darkish, brownish Europeans and American immigrants are of Moorish Negro descent. Groups of scholars have fallaciously identified the woolly-haired, black-skinned, and ever-lipped Moorish Negroes as African Caucasians in order to disrupt any notion of a former Negro dominance in Europe. Go back again to the message that was given to these Asiatics of North America. by Noble Drew Ali in the 1920s. When we say Noble Drew Ali was a mastermind and before his time, he came back then to correct all these issues that we're facing right now. The only individual who can do that is someone sent by a higher power. Ain't no nigger leader gonna do that. Allah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call the higher force, had to send an individual, had to send a savior for the message to be relative all these years later. And more so relative later than the time when he came. The time has come when every nation must worship under its own vine and fig tree, and every tongue must confess his own. Through sin and disobedience, every nation has suffered slavery due to the fact they honored not the creed and principles of their forefathers. This is why the nationality of the Moors was taken away from them in 1774, and the word Negro, black, and colored was given to the Asiatics of America who were of Moorish descent, because they honored not the principles of their mother and father, disrespectful bastards. They honored not the principle of their mothers and fathers. Why would you not honor the principles of your mothers and fathers? Why not? If you don't honor the principles of your mothers and fathers, you have no mother and father. And if you have no mother and father, then you're probably a beast of the field. And if you're a beast of this field, why would you expect somebody to respect you and have some honor and all that stuff for you? Why would they respect you if you're a beast of the field? You see people respecting cows out here? They don't respect cows. You see them respecting sheep? You see them respecting the fish? No, they don't, right? You see them respecting the llamas? The donkeys get any respect out here? They treat them like a nigger slave, don't they? Just jump on their back, riding them. Don't they treat the animals like a slave? Because they don't honor their mother and father? No, because they don't have a mother and father. That's why animals get treated how they get treated. No animal saying that's my mom. Honors to all the Moors worldwide. Honors to all the Moors in the chat. Honors to all. All. Peace and love. Honors to the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all the mothers.